Good morning, everyone. It's another Friday with Unlock Your Way with STK, and we're here today with the Prince of Positivity, Spencer Jones. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Yeah, I look forward to where this conversation goes today because we just met a few months ago at an in-person conference, and I love this so much because energy is something you're all about, and your company, Jones and For, really ignites people's personal energy. And you do that in a number of ways. But what is really cool is that comes off when you meet you in person. Like it's just like an awesome just vibe and energy. So really excited to support you today.
Well, thank you so much. I love the connection when we met at that event. It was so cool to feel your energy, your vibration, and
Mhm.
as a person who just embraces yourself and as best we can and shine our light. When you see someone else shine their authentic light instead of putting up all of the walls and facades and that, it's
Yeah.
a breath of fresh air. So getting to see and meet you and have some conversations was amazing and such a beautiful breath of fresh air at that event and afterwards, and now to continue our friendship and see where all this goes and impact even more lives. So thank you for having me on, and uh,
Oh,
I love it, love it, love it.
you're so welcome. My business was really built on in-person events before COVID, and, getting back to those within the past 6, 8 months
Mm.
has really made me realize that I was missing personal energy and that idea of connecting with people, and this sounds a little woo-woo for some of my business followers, but vibrationally connecting with someone, you
Right.
know, that gets you. I think I was missing so much of that in the virtual space. It is possible,
It
but
is.
let me know your thoughts on getting back to personal events. I know you run a lot of events. What has that been like for you?
Well, you can get a connection with anybody anywhere at any time. And so
Mhm.
virtual events are great. And obviously during COVID, when we had to go virtual, it's all we could do. So of course we made it work and that. And you can have that connection, but it's, at least for me, I found it's not as deep of a connection. At least you don't feel that energy quite as much as it
Yeah.
is in person, right? I've seen it with our events, whether it's our virtual wellness retreat or we go to we went to Romania last year for one of our events, or here in the States. But when you're in person, you could see the person's expressions, you could look into their eyes more, you feel their energy. And as you mentioned, some of your business followers are like, oh, this might be a little too woo woo. I totally get it. That was me for years and years, until I
Yeah.
realized every single thing is a vibration. Everything, right? From the words you're speaking to my water bottle, to everything's a type of vibration. So
Yes. Yes.
once we could tune in the sense of, oh, I sense this energy of that person, right? If you're angry, you have a different vibration than when you're happy, right?
Mhm.
And so and people, just with how they are, have their own energy, which means they have their own vibration. So, oh, this resonates or not. So, by trade, I'm a musician. I'm a classically trained pianist. I was a choir director for 9 years. So, if you think about it in the sense of music, right, you have chords that make this beautiful harmony. Well, that's vibrations that work together, that resonate
Yeah.
together, right? And then there's the people you don't get along with, or emotions you're like, this just rubs me the wrong way. Well, those are vibrations that are dissonant, like two notes that are close together on a piano, right? Or in music, you're like, oh, that's just that clinks, it clangs, it's not right, right? It's dissonant. That's all it is. It's with energy, with people, like, oh,
Mhm.
wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with me, but our vibrations are just dissonant. They're clashing right now. And
Yeah.
that's, but if we could be aware of that. So I get that it sounds woo woo, but if you could relate it to, like, oh, if everything's energy and we relate it to something like music, like most people know about vibrations, sound waves,
Mhm.
oh, then it makes a little more sense and a little more tangible.
Yeah, it really does because immediately I was thinking, there's certain songs for me that get me relaxed. There's certain music that I've listened to my whole entire life that came from my parents, my dad's love of, like, jazz and modern jazz. Um, I can listen to that and it immediately relaxes me. It immediately puts me in a different headspace. And same with other music, it's like my pump up music. And so if you think of people the same way, there's certain people that energize you, and there's certain people that take away from that energy. And
Mhm.
it's such a personal feeling that tapping into that, how has that shifted business for you?
Well, first of all, I had to tap into it to myself, right?
Yes.
'Cause for years, I was just putting up a wall and facades and that fake image to try
Mhm,
to meet what I thought society wanted me to be. So I wasn't aware of my own energy or other things. And when I heard that stuff, I'm like, "Oh, this is woo woo. This is crazy. This doesn't make any sense."
mhm.
Until for me, I hit my rock bottom, had to learn who I was again, and realize, oh, this is who I am. These are my values. This is what I this is where I'm going in life. This is, what I want to do. And okay, so once I got to know me, then I could start recognizing, oh, that's why this relationship was always stressful or off. This is why
Mm,
this person isn't there. So now when I go to in-person events, I try to discern really quickly. I'm not judging anybody because their energy is their energy. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I try to discern, hey, that energy is in alignment, that energy is not in alignment. Cool. And then I'll go deeper with those conversations, right? I'll still be friendly and kind to everybody, but
yeah.
let's discern so we can go deeper. So for me, it's how it changed business to actually answer the question you asked, is once I tapped into it, knowing it for me, then I could connect deeper with people, and I know the right people to connect with because I go, "Oh, this is consonant, right? This is,
Yeah.
harmonious more so." So, okay, cool. Now I can talk and work with them, and that just helps business. Once I got in tune with that, it wasn't a bunch of noise, it was much more direct and focused. So it's like knowing, okay, who's your ideal client? Do you know the demographics, the psychographics, all that? Once you know that, okay, you know how to serve your people better. And
Mhm.
so when I learned my energy and understood it, and it's trial and error, but once I got more in tune with that, pun intended, then I was able to be more attuned to my audience and serve them in a better and deeper way. So that only helped the business grow bigger and faster, and have a bigger impact than we did before.
Well, I love the fact that you were aware that the work started in here first, because none of this that I talk about as far as, up leveling or upgrading or stepping into your charisma or stepping into your accelerated business goals, it's not possible without really diving into yourself. So that's one of the things that stood out about your talk and about you, is that you were willing to do that work on yourself. And maybe you didn't even know what the purpose of it was or the goal of it was, but you knew that you had to do that in order to grow to that next level.
It it does amaze me how many people don't do that inner work and just, and still achieve success to some degree, but it's
Mhm.
more surface level success, at least it seems to me, and maybe I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but, who don't do that inner work, and for me, there was no question or choice about it because I lived for 20 plus years of my life, where I was putting out that facade and trying to get that success that was
Mhm.
all surface level. The nickname my wife gave me before we met was Ego Man, and she wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah, so I
Hmm.
let my ego guide me for years and years, and even after we met, I still let it guide me for years and years. I don't know why she went out on a date with me and married me, but I'm glad she did. But, um, excuse me. So, we, being ego man, I let my ego make decisions for me, right?
Yeah,
I potentially
yeah.
follow those things. "Oh, let's keep doing this. Life knocked me down. I'll get back up. I'm good. Let's keep going." And Till I made some really stupid decisions and life kicked that pedestal out from underneath me and I came crashing down, hit my rock
Mm,
bottom where I felt cold. I felt alone. I mean, I had my wife and one or two people, but that was about it. And
mhm.
then, I felt cold, alone, tired, exhausted. I didn't know who I was. Like, I didn't know if I liked chocolate cake. Like, I couldn't tell you if it was because someone else said I should like chocolate cake or if
Oh,
I really did, or do I like this kind of movie or show?
mhm,
I didn't know. And so I really had to discover who I was again if I wanted to keep going.
mhm.
And at that point, I was suicidal. I didn't want to live. I didn't know what to do. And the crazy part is I was already doing personal growth at that time, right? I was already working on stuff, but I only let it get so deep. But now that I was at rock bottom, it finally had fertile soil to take hold. So I
Yeah.
went to a therapist and they reinforced some of the tools that I was already doing and using and offered new ones that then helped me really dig in and get to know who I am and with where I'm going so
Mm.
that I can keep going forward. But it's still hard. It doesn't happen
Yes.
overnight. And I remember thinking at that time, what does this mean? Like, why keep doing this? What's the purpose of this? What's the goal? What's the silver lining? What's the positive in this whole crap show of life that's going on?
Mhm.
And I couldn't tell you. Like at that point, I'm an optimistic person. Let's look at the glasses half full, right? Look for that silver lining. I couldn't tell you what it is at that point. Now I could look back and tell you clearer, but at that point, all I could tell myself and tell the world is there I'm learning something. I don't know what I'm gonna learn in this process, but I'm gonna learn something that's gonna allow me
Yes.
to help other people at some point either
Yeah.
avoid this or get through this faster. What that is, I don't know because I'm learning it right now. So, but
Yeah.
it has to be something. And that's as far as that could go at the time. But then as I've gotten farther and farther away from that and kept learning and growing, it's gotten clearer and clearer how I've been able to help people now with energy and mindset and oh, let's help you master your energy sovereignty so you don't have those energy vampires sucking away
Mhm.
your energy. You have the good positive energy flow in and you're able to balance that and really shine your true light.
Uh, I laugh and I'm smiling inside because I remember that spot for myself, and you just described it so, so well that you so many times we try to connect the dots forward, like, "Why am I learning this? Where is this gonna go? What am I gonna do with it? How's it gonna serve me?" And in reality, the only thing we can do is connect the dots backwards. Like, "Oh, I learned that because of this, and that happened because of this, and it led me to this."
Right.
And I think that's really a beautiful remembrance of that because when we try to connect dots forward, oh, what do I need to learn next? Who do I need to become in order to, go, be a millionaire or do, have a Porsche? Who do I need? That has never worked for me
Right. I
ever.
mean, it's nice to
I
have
have
a plan.
goals,
It's
but
nice to have, like, a goal, a vision of, like, "Oh, this
yeah,
is where I'd like to be,"
right.
but you still have to be flexible and adjust knowing that the way you think you might and to have that plan, like, "This is how I think I'm
Mhm.
gonna get there." Great, start going on those steps,
Right.
but you might have to do a little detour and get over this way, and you'll
Yeah.
get there, or maybe it'll change, but you can only connect the dots forward so much. You have to looking back, it's always 2020, but then
Mhm.
you can connect the dots and take those lessons to help you accelerate the growth forward. And
Yeah.
I'm a person who struggles with that. I was just thinking of a post I'll probably make on social media right after this of I always try running before I can walk. Right? I get
Oh,
excited. All right,
dude.
walk
Like,
just a little bit. I'm like, I'm off. Let's go. And then life has to check me like, hold on, Spencer.
yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
quite work like that. So
Yeah.
it's
"Excuse
one of those.
me. Excuse
Right?
me, Suzanne." Like, you need some other things first before you do that. Like, it's
Let's get you
wow,
set
when
up.
you have that high performing energy, right, and you know what you're capable of,
Right.
it's like you try to rush that, skip steps, whatever, to, get to that, whatever that place is, right?
Right.
And it's so fascinating to be put in check so many times.
It sucks. Let me just be honest. It sucks
Yeah.
being stressed all the time like that, but
Yeah.
I learn, and I'm getting better at understanding why it happens, but and
Mhm.
appreciating it. It still
Yeah,
sucks, but,
yeah,
but I still keep trying to learn and grow and how to expedite that process as quickly as I can. But some of it is just it is what it is. It's part of this journey and growth process, and
yeah.
that's okay. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, truly. I wanna know a little bit about before this journey for you. What did you set your sights on being or becoming when you grew up, and what did that career start like for you before entrepreneurship?
Good question. Um, different than some kids, I would say. So I didn't have like dreams of being a firefighter or doctor or anything like that.
Mhm.
Um, for me, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure I had stuff as a kid here or there, but nothing really stuck with me too much until till I turned 11. And reason why is because I was we had a like one of the two TVs in the house. I was watching one of them, of all things, of a concert going on, an orchestra playing.
Mhm.
And there was an oboe solo, and I'm like, that's so amazing. I love that instrument. It's beautiful. I'd love to learn how to play. Great. So then I was homeschooled, and so we went to the public school, and I was able to join band that next year, and then started with clarinet, learned how to play oboe. Oh my gosh, this is amazing! And then really fell in love with music the year after I started piano lessons, and kept doing that, and realized I'm having fun being creative at the piano, right? Writing my own
Mm.
stuff. And so somewhere in high school, middle school, high school, I decided, I love the music for movies and stuff like that. I'd love to write my movie scores, right? Write the music behind the movies. And so that was my vision as I went into college and started that way. Met my
Mhm.
wife after in my second year. And then, so I was already an entrepreneur. Let me preface this to a degree. My mom was an entrepreneur at different points, at a couple different
Ah, so you
companies.
had that. Had
Right.
that.
So I saw to a degree, and I grew up like we grew up in the country. We sold raspberries and different produce. I remember planting pumpkins and selling them myself. I had a lawn mowing and snow shoveling business as a kid, like just little things I started up. And then in college, I also had two piano studios that I ran, one at one town when I was at college there. Then when I moved my piano studio to the new town, right? So I was already an entrepreneur to a degree.
Wow.
But thinking, okay, whatever, this is just side gigs get money. I had other jobs too. I worked at a restaurant and all that. And so when I met my wife and we started to get serious and decided to get married, I was told by my father-in-law, well, if you're going to marry my daughter, you need health insurance,
Uh,
right? And not just do be an entrepreneur with
mhm.
whatever. And right, I get where he's coming from. I respect that perspective of it. I
Yep.
completely disagree with that perspective, in my opinion now. But at that time, as an 18-year-old kid, I'm like, well,
Oh.
okay. So what does that look like? Hmm.
Yeah.
Because I want to marry your daughter. So I decided to go into music education. That was the whole reason I switched from music composition in college to music ed, and because I figured, well, I could still teach and chase my passions of writing music.
Mhm.
So I did, and thank goodness I fell in love with teaching. I loved it, loved being in front of the classroom. Ended up loving middle school and high school, especially high school, and worked with kids for 9 years. But after 3 or 4 years, probably 4 years of teaching, I went, I like this. This is fun, but this isn't, there's something missing. I'm not sure what
Mm.
this is. And then, so I got into network marketing and started doing some other side hustles, side gigs, and building up other businesses along
Mhm.
the side of teaching, right? Because it just wasn't scratching that itch. And I changed teaching jobs, thinking maybe that was part of it. That wasn't it. The other teaching job was still like, okay, this isn't it. This isn't the long term thing. I don't know what it is yet. And in any case, it slowly developed into, me doing network marketing, which led me into personal development, which then I realized, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm optimistic, but I could be intentional about having a good day, right? I don't have to just
Mm.
wake up on the good side of bed or be in a bad mood because someone cut me off. No, I could be intentional about this, and how, oh my gosh, you're creating new neural pathways and reinforcing them. How does that work? How can you do this faster? And
Mhm.
went into that research and really fell in love with how to have a positive, abundant mindset biologically. Like, how can we do that? What are the tools and strategies? And doing it for myself, then helping other people, coaching, and then building this business up so that we do all the stuff that we do. But to the point where I go, all right, I'm retired from teaching. We're good. Let's do this full time. And my wife was a teacher, so we had health insurance through her for a couple
Mhm.
of years until she retired from teaching just last school year and a half ago.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's been an exciting journey to do that, but, there was no necessarily dream of me being an entrepreneur as a kid. There was no dream of, I mean, entrepreneur, I guess, and being music composition, and I still play piano. I still love composing music, but, it's much more of an entrepreneur with helping people step into their light and shine. Like, let's help you chase your passions and be at your best. So, when someone tells you you need this, yeah,
Mhm.
well, do I? Does that really align? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what I love so much is I see how it's all connected now, right?
Not
Looking
now, not the moment, but now we do.
No, like, when you were teaching and feeling, you know, not fulfilled and not sure, and wow, like, now it makes so much sense because in a way you are a teacher. You
Mhm.
are, inspiring a room full of people. The room's just a little bit bigger,
Right.
and it's so cool to see that, and I remember when somebody connected that dot for me, um, and it felt like relief almost because the dot between, the 20-year career in dentistry and what I do now, oh, wow, that was a hard connection. I couldn't see it. But
Mhm.
then as soon as that connection was made for me, so much of the past made sense.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, the little things you learn on this journey, and then when you relate it to looking back, once I learned more about vibrations and energy work, I go, "Oh my god, that's that now this person that I thought was like
Yeah.
I loved him, but he seemed crazy at the time. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, now this makes perfect sense. That's why you were there in my life because you helped shape me in music at that time.
Yeah.
But now that applies to everything. Oh, and this person, and this person. Oh my gosh, there's all these little nudges from the universe that I had never
Mhm.
realized until I look back and thinking of teaching and going into this or dentistry into to all the work you're doing. How much of our stuff from the past and our prior experiences prime us to what we do today? Like
Mm.
when I transitioned and retired from teaching, I told people I'm not done teaching. I'm just changing. I'm not teaching in a classroom. I'm teaching from a stage. That's
Love it.
only difference, right? And so
Yeah.
and I still get energized by it. Like I love teaching. We had a master class last night that my wife Katie and I held, and that was amazing. We had so much fun doing it, and that energizes me. Our workshops that we do, it energizes me because I'm teaching. And the cool part is we learn how to teach. Like we went to
Yeah.
school for teaching. She had 12 years in the classroom. I had 9 years. So we had to combine over 20 years in the classroom. We know how people learn. We know the different learning styles and how to do that. So now we take that and implement it
Mm.
into what we do so people could catch on faster and we can give them those strategies because we were all kids once. We all still learn, and adults learn a little differently than kids, but we know how to do that and we use our experience to help
Yeah.
reinforce it, and do what we do now better than what we could have before.
I love that. Immediately, I thought of, I wonder what my success rate was as a dental hygienist getting people to floss every day. Like, did I have a 98% success rate convincing people to floss every day or educating them on why they should want to do it every day? And I think about that now, like looking at the entrepreneurs that I work with, 9 times out of 10, it's not tactics. It's not, "Oh, do this, this, and this."
Right.
It's, how are you showing up for your business? I taught a class last night too on ideal client attraction, and I didn't realize how much I knew until I started bullet pointing out the things that I wanted to cover. And then you get in the moment of it and there's more, because you're in the
Right.
moment of it and trusting universal intelligence to show up and your wisdom to show up and all that that I didn't know how to do 20 years ago.
It's
And
amazing.
I watched you do it only once, watched you do it. And there's a trust almost that comes over you. I don't know where that comes from for me. Where do you think it comes from for you?
For me, the trust comes from, I mean, you can call it God, universe, whatever you choose to call it, earth, wind, fire, I don't care.
Okay.
But that there's this source energy. It's
Yeah.
just like, no, it's we'll guide you to say and do the right things if you're open
Mm,
to it and you listen. And I wasn't always open to hearing it. I was bullheaded for many, many years, but I've gotten more and more in tune with it to the point where I feel those nudges. It's at a lot of times still. It's just like, yeah, say this and just go along this way. The ideas will pop in your brain, and you can go along the pathway, or the story will come in. But sometimes, and it's been happening more and more, which is cool, is that I feel like this hard push to be like, you should really say this. Like,
yeah.
this is really like, let's, and at one time in particular, it was like weighing so heavily on me, like, say it, you need to say this. And I'm like, I've never felt this before. This is
Mhm.
interesting to this weight and degree as
Yeah.
opposed to an idea that popped in. And that's been happening slowly but surely, more and more and more, which is exciting. And that to me is I'm open up to hearing what God, earth, wind, fire, universe, whatever source has said to me to
Yeah.
share. And I check it, make sure it's like, okay, this kind of makes sense to some degree. It's not totally out of left field, uh,
Mhm.
but that has never steered me wrong when I've just been open to it. I don't know if that
Beautiful.
answers your question in the least, but
Yeah, beautiful. I think that's a perfect answer to the question because that's what it is for you. And of course, my friend James is here saying he's excited to see both of us having a conversation.
James, love having you. Love having
Um,
you.
we met for coffee last week because he lives near me that
Oh,
we found out, and we meet for coffee, and my Starbucks is closed. So coffee turned into my favorite little breakfast spot around the corner with breakfast and French press coffee, which was just
nice.
incredible. So James caffeinated is a whole experience. So
James is an experience, a beautiful
yeah,
experience. Caffeinated is taking it to a whole new level.
yeah,
Yeah.
whole new level. And yeah, so just thankful. Thanks, James, for tuning in and watching us. Last question for
Yeah.
you. Navigating a business is hard enough. Navigating a business and doing it with your spouse, talk a little bit about that energy. Because
Some
she
people,
looked, I haven't met her. She's fabulous, like I'm sure. But
she is.
what
She's
is that
fabulous.
energy like to do a business together?
I appreciate you asking, and I know some people struggle with it, right? Depending on their spouse, and I get it, right? Everybody's energy
Yeah.
and styles are different. That's one thing. One thing that I'm really thankful for as well. Let me back up. In previous businesses or styles of versions of businesses I've had in the past, she was not in as much of it as she is now, right? So I ran different things on my own, and she was more behind the scenes or not involved much at all. But with Jones and Four in particular, and especially the work, and since I retired and went full time, she's been
Mhm.
much more involved with it, helping
Mm,
make decisions, choices, and what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and all that
yeah.
good stuff. Even when she was teaching, now she was more of a background role when she was teaching because obviously she was still having her career and doing that. Uh, but her and I were I'm an extrovert. She's an introvert, right? So she loves doing the behind the scenes stuff. She'll run our events from behind the scenes when we host them here, and I'll be the person in front doing it. So we work
Mhm.
really, really well together. That we're both not fighting for that same position. So like, nope, this is my role, this is your role, and we can help support each other. And it's we complement one another really well with how we do that, how we even speak at events, and and work together. We're usually on the same page about most things, um, personal and business. About, oh yeah, what do you think about this idea? Oh, this makes sense. I was thinking the same thing, and we can go that way. So I'm really lucky, blessed, whatever you want to call it, to have her on my side and her by
Mhm.
my side, and that we do this together, and that we're very well aligned with it. Um, are there challenges? Yeah, but I honestly, it's been such a blessing to have her here join us, join me full time with it, and take things off my plate. Because at that point, our business is growing. We already have
Mm.
a team member who has taken up a bunch of other things off my plate. We've had her for 2 years as part of the team, and then when
Wow.
Katie retired, or like, I was like, okay, enjoy your summer, right? You wanted to enjoy your summer, like your last teaching summer. And then uh and then when the school year started back up, I'm like, cool, you let me know what you want to take on. I have a list of things that I think you'd be great at, that I'd love to have you take on, and we'll just slowly layer it on. If it fits, great. If it doesn't fit, great, I'll take it back. But let's just see what you want and what you want to do, right? Here are my thoughts, but what do you want to do in the business? And so
Beautiful.
that's been really cool to see her step into her light of doing this. She was never an entrepreneur mindset or style. She never did that stuff before. So this is newer to her. But what she's realizing is so much of it relates to teaching, that she's just
Mhm.
using the same tools in a slightly different way, or sometimes the exact same way
I
for the
love
business. Like we have an online personal growth academy that we run, and so that's her baby now. Like, we started, got it kicked off the ground when she was teaching, and now she takes care of that, and we add new courses and trainings and all that. So that's her thing. She also does more of the nitty gritty, the accounting work and the other stuff. Like, so cool. I don't have to worry about that. Here you go. And so she runs
cool.
it. So it's
I'm
been really
thinking,
cool
how do
to
I
be
get a Katie?
right. How did I don't know. I lucked out finding her and marrying her. I good
Yeah.
luck. But I know it's a hard thing for me to answer, because I feel like we're different than many, because I know a lot of couples can struggle working together. They don't have the support of their significant other.
Mhm.
But I've been lucky and blessed enough that Katie has always supported me, seeing that in me when I didn't,
Yeah.
more than I've seen it in myself. And then now to be side by side, helping us make it bigger and grow and impact more lives, has just really been a blessing. It's worked out really, really, really well, because we both reach different demographics, and
Yeah.
different psychographics. Like, obviously, I'm a very high energy person, and let's go, and I resonate really well with some people, right? We talked about vibration. Some
Mhm.
people align with me. Some people who align with Katie don't align with me as much as they do her, right? So
Yeah.
now we can help and serve even more people, and to see Katie step into her light and do it's just been amazing. So I
That's
don't know what to
incredible.
tell you. It's just been
I'm
incredible. And
I'm writing that down today, is get a Katie.
yes,
That's
get a Katie. That's what
yeah,
everyone, get a Katie. Oh,
I
perfect.
love
Now
it.
mine is taken, but get a Katie. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Um, all right, so let's dive into what your company offers right now, how you're currently helping people, and, um, where you want people to reach out to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for asking. So basically, what we do, if you put it in a nutshell, is we give people that breath of fresh air, from all that stress and feeling unworthy, not enough. We give people that breath of fresh air so that they can step into their light and shine bright. We show people and help them do that. So there's basically four steps that we help people with. We help people identify and vanquish energy vampires, help them build a positive, abundant mindset, find that inner peace, that calm within, and then keep this going, right? Managing that energy. So we help you see it and then manage it. And that's generally what we do. Now, all of that's our side of Jones and Four, but Jones and Four is actually a bigger ecosystem where we have our community, and then we have our communities filled with amazing energizers who are learning and growing. And then we have our online personal growth academy. Well, our academy has trainings, courses, yes, from Katie and I, but we have a whole team of experts, right? So if we talk about energy, great, we can help you build a positive, abundant mindset and vanquish the energy vampires, finding the inner peace. But let's say, oh man, I really want to learn more about Reiki, or I want to do self healing, or I want to start
Yeah.
journaling, meditating. Great. I know some of those things, but I don't know all of them. I'm not an expert in that. So in my journey, I've discovered and found some amazing experts who have become friends, that now we invite to be experts in our community, right? So we have
Beautiful.
a whole academy of experts that teach self-healing or crystals or meditation or whatever, that now you can come like, hey, I really want to do this. I'm like, oh, cool. Talk to Allegra. Oh, cool. Talk to Steve. Oh, go talk to Michael or whoever it is. That
Mhm.
now we have a community who could support you on your journey. You don't have to use them, but we vetted them. We know they're experts. They've been through the fire. Now they're helping other people. They're relatable. For me, I struggle relating to a person who made, takes six figures just to maybe work with,
Mhm.
or they make millions and millions and millions of dollars a year. I'm like, I struggle relating to that. So if there's someone more like me, oh, cool, I can relate to you. And they're accessible, right? I don't have
Yeah.
to work through someone's assistant. I could send them a DM or an email and they'll get back to me. We can hop on a Zoom and chat. Like, how cool is that? So
Mhm.
they're vetted, relatable, and accessible experts. So we have that part of and they're all in our communities. We have the community academy, and then we host events all around the world. And those events are all part of those four layers, right? Discover energy vampires to finding inner peace, positive mindset, continue it going. So everything from we're going to Philippines in January. We have our big summit in Chicago in September. And then we do one-day events and different things. Like we're going to London in 2 weeks for a one-day event. We have stuff in Wisconsin. So it all looks, depends what you're looking for, where you are in your journey, really.
Mhm.
But you can learn more about that and all the stuff we do on our website, which is wearejonesin4.com. We
I
are,
love it.
yeah,
I
gotta
love
have
it. I love it. I love community. I love the fact that it's intentional community with learning and it's a collaboration. Like it's a co-created members of your community are creating the community. And that's good. It's good stuff.
It's amazing when you have people who know, like, and trust you, and they're
Yeah.
not gonna judge you, right? No matter where you are in your journey, they're not gonna judge you. They're just gonna share love, and that's what we've built up, and now
Yeah.
it's running on its own, which is amazing. I'm just a part of it. They're the community that make it amazing.
Beautiful. Well, that's a sign of a true entrepreneur thinking right there. So, thank you so much for this conversation today. I appreciate you. I look forward to more together um, in community. Bringing you to my people is an absolute pleasure. So, thank you, Spencer, so much for being here today.
Thank you for being you and sharing your love and light with the world and with me and having me on. I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you, Suzanne.
You're so welcome. Have a great day, everyone, and join us next Friday. I'll be in the Bahamas, so we won't be here live. But next week, we have another amazing episode dropping for you with Coach Faber. Have a great day, everyone.